From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Thursday, March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. The parade kicks off at 11:30 this morning with beautiful weather to go with it. Plenty of sunshine today with highs in the low 70s. And firefighters brace for another day of smoke and flames, some 20 hours into the fight against a massive fire at the Wal-Mart distribution center in Plainfield. It's a 1.2 million square foot facility just northwest of the Indianapolis International Airport. Officials say it could be days or weeks before investigators figure out what started the fire. It broke out yesterday around noon. At its peak, there were 200 firefighters battling this blaze. The Plainfield fire chief tells us that they know the fire started somewhere on the third floor of the building. He also says it could take at least 24 hours to put the flames out completely. And they're also dealing with an issue that's causing the fire to drag out longer than they want.
We've been using a lot of water, and we can't sustain that long term. So we're going to have to cut back on our operations here, water consumption here. So we'll still have water for other places. So you may see additional fire trucks showing up. Those are to transport water in and out, which is going to slow our operations down a little bit.
The good news is that all firefighters and 1,000 employees that were inside at the time are all accounted for. At least a dozen different agencies responded at one point to help with the fire. Wal-Mart did send us a statement. It reads, "We are thankful to local emergency crews for their quick response and for helping us account for the safety of our associates and those at the facility. We'll continue working with police, fire personnel, and are referring all questions to them." Also, EPA inspectors are also testing the air for possible contamination. Right now, authorities say it is best to limit your time outside. Going more into that, if you find debris from the fire, experts warn that it could be dangerous. Bargersville Deputy Fire Chief Mike Pruitt shared a picture of a handful of charred chunks. You can find that on social media. He says don't handle it because fire debris can have cancer-causing material in it. He says that's one of the reasons firefighters wear protective gear.
Here comes Gio Baker. He didn't get it off. That's it. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Notre Dame in double overtime has defeated Rutgers 89-87 to move on to the first round of the NCAA tournament.
The Fighting Irish earn a St. Patrick's Day trip to San Diego. Notre Dame's first tournament win since 2017 earns the team a Friday game out west. Notre Dame plays 6th-seeded Alabama tomorrow. The game tips off at 4:15. And both Notre Dame, since the win, and IU made it out of the first four round, of course, and are turning their attention to the next opponent. The Hoosiers are gearing up for their matchup with 5th-seeded St. Mary's tonight. News 8's Charlie Clifford is with the jet-lag team in Portland, Oregon, before they tip off at 7:20 tonight.
A win over Wyoming Tuesday night and a trip to Portland, Oregon. The only problem for the Hoosiers, they were stuck on the tarmac in Dayton at 4 a.m. Eastern Wednesday morning. The plane, coordinated by the NCAA to take the team out west, too small. Eventually, a new aircraft arrived. Our exclusive arrival footage right here just before 7 a.m. local time in Portland.
Man, when we got on that plane, we were there, and then they're like hour delay. So we're like, all right. And all of a sudden, we had to switch planes, and then 2 hours later, we're finally taking off. So by that time, I was like, can we please just get here? And then we finally got to the hotel room, and then I probably fell asleep in 3 minutes. So,
coaches, we didn't really sleep. We started prepping, getting ready for these guys to get out of the bed and come down and eat a little bit. And then we walked through some things, and we're going to go back and walk through some things. We watched film, and then tomorrow morning we'll get up and do our normal routine and get ready to play.
Mike Woodson puts his team through a light practice Wednesday night, and now St. Mary's, the 5 seed, waits on Thursday.
I watched St. Mary's. They're a hell of a team. They're well coached. I like Portland. It's a hell of a city. So it's good to be back, but it'd be even better if we can come out of here with a win. That's kind of how I look at it.
The Hoosiers may need some sleep, but they are healthy ahead of tip-off. We will have your coverage all the way through post-game in Portland. For now, out west, Charlie Clifford, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
Purdue is in place and ready for practice in Milwaukee for its first-round matchup with Yale. Head coach Matt Painter talked after arrival about the team's first task.
Just trying to get settled more than anything, just trying to get to a city, get settled in, start watching more film, get ready for the interviews and the practice tomorrow. But Yale's a very good opponent. But the most important team is always your team. And so just trying to get everybody on the same page.
The Boilermakers tip off against Yale Friday afternoon at 2. And Gainbridge Fieldhouse hosts its first games of the tournament today. The first game pits Colorado State against Michigan. Then Tennessee plays Longwood. Then Kentucky takes on St. Peter's. And Murray State faces off against San Francisco. Also, this morning, Gary Dick joined us on Daybreak, as he does every Thursday, to talk business headlines. Here's that conversation.
A big change at a major business incubator. Wish TV partners with Inside Indiana Business and the IBJ, of course.
Gary Dick is host of Inside Indiana Business. Who's going to lead this very cool corner near downtown?
Yeah, Emily Kruger, who has been at 16 Tech, the Innovation District, for the last several years. Had been an assistant to Richard Lugar and had some other high-profile positions. She takes over for Bob Coy, who really got that project underway. 16 Tech, the Innovation District, near the old Bush Stadium, just north of IUPUI, the campus there. Been a long time coming. I think it spanned 4 mayoral administrations. It is now up and running. A lot of innovative companies, the Indiana Biosciences Research Institute, among others there. There's the AMP, this new kind of trendy food area there. It is, many people suggest, one of the most consequential developments that Indianapolis is going to see for a number of years, because it's about attracting talent and keeping talent in Indianapolis. So a big move there. 16 Tech is coming to life. And that's, again, a lot of people question whether it would happen. What we're going to see over there next, a big, this huge centerpiece green space, an iconic bridge that's going to span the water there. So a lot of development has happened, a lot more on the way there.
Vertical farms are making their way to Indiana.
Yeah, vertical farming. I mean, traditional agriculture is still going to be around, but a lot of new and different ways are being looked at on how to grow food and feed the world. Muncie getting a huge investment, $70 million. Could mean 100-plus jobs as well for this vertical farming company out of Minnesota. This is a technology, essentially, that requires 95% less water and almost 100% less land than traditional farming. Living Green Farm, Greens Farm is the company. Again, a big investment there, and it signals the future of agriculture. You go to South Bend, they have these two of the largest indoor greenhouses growing leafy greens and those types of things in South Bend. So Indiana kind of becoming a center for that kind of technology.
Well, the know-how's here. You've been farming for a long time.
Yeah.
It's not that way. Yeah. Give us a peek of Sunday.
Peak of Sunday. Sunday, man, we're talking inflation. We all know it. We all feel it. But how is Indiana in particular being impacted by higher gas prices and inflation? We'll talk with Mike Hicks from Ball State. We also will talk with the woman behind that massive renovation at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and 2 big exhibits, really cool exhibits, Major Taylor. Also the enhanced, if you will, Dinosphere at the Children's Museum of Indianapolis. Also give you a quick look inside the IBJ this week. They will take a look at the fallout from the Ukraine invasion on Indiana tech companies. Interesting story there. Also, could a nonstop to Europe come back to the airport? And Dave Lindquist will look at a new play at IRT addressing Thomas Jefferson's racial legacy.
Federal prosecutors have charged 5 people for spying on Americans on behalf of the Chinese government, including people in Indiana. Prosecutors say they were working to silence critics of the People's Republic of China by spying on them and sharing negative information about them. They say suspects attempted to disrupt the campaign of a candidate for Congress and planned to destroy artwork criticizing China's government. A new COVID forecast from the CDC predicts cases, hospital trips, and deaths to keep going down across the country. The agency expects 20,000 deaths from the virus over the next month, the lowest tally so far this year. COVID-19 related deaths have dropped for 5 straight weeks. The CDC also expects hospitalizations to keep dropping. The Department of Health and Human Services says some 24,000 people are in the hospital with the virus across the country, including 442 in Indiana. A new study is offering more information about a 4th dose of the COVID-19 vaccine and how it works against the Omicron variant. It's new this week in the New England Journal of Medicine. Researchers say the 4th dose of Pfizer or Moderna does provide a boost to waning antibodies, but doesn't increase the level of Omicron antibodies above the 3rd dose level. It's one of several studies federal authorities will consider as they decide whether to clear more people for a 4th dose. President Biden makes the harshest comments yet against Vladimir Putin from any U.S. official since the Russian invasion began.
I think he is a war criminal.
Biden made the war criminal comment to reporters at an unrelated event yesterday. Shortly after, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki doubled down on the sentiment.
I think the president's remarks speak for themselves. He was speaking from his heart and speaking from what he's seen on television, which is barbaric actions by a brutal dictator through his invasion of a foreign country. There is a legal process that continues to be underway at the State Department. That's a process that they would have any updates on.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky pleaded with Congress yesterday morning to do more to aid his country and to punish Russia. He also asked U.S. leaders to instill a no-fly zone over Ukraine.
We are asking for a reply, for an answer to this terror from the whole world. Is this a lot to ask for, to create a no-fly zone over Ukraine to save people?
Both sides of the aisle in Congress oppose a no-fly zone, saying it could cause direct conflict between the West and Russia. According to a New York Times report, American intelligence says more than 7,000 Russian troops have died since the fighting began. That's already greater than the number of American troops killed in Iraq and Afghanistan over a span of 2 decades. The report says 21,000 more are hurt. University of Southwest in New Mexico is mourning the loss of 6 golfers and their coach after they were killed in a crash on their way back from a tournament. According to officials, the crash happened in western Texas Tuesday night. The Department of Public Safety says the truck crossed the center line and hit the university van head-on before both vehicles caught fire. University officials say the golfers were from both men and women's teams and range in age from 18 to 22. They say 2 other players survived the crash. The driver and passenger in the truck were also killed. A recall alert for more than 3 million bottles of gummy vitamins. The brand is airborne. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the maker has gotten at least 70 reports of the cap or seal popping off of the bottles. 18 people say they've been hurt. The recall is for bottles with a 63 or 75 count of gummies in blueberry, pomegranate, orange, and assorted fruit flavors. They were sold in stores and online from May of 2020 to last month. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.